You're listening to Richmond's Morning News with Rich Herrera on News Radio WRVA.
Wow, did I kick the Hornets' nest this morning, folks? You're not going to want to miss. When we have our text message segment coming up, we read the best text messages off the James River Air text line. It's 655, 755, 855. Oh my gosh, this could be the greatest text message I've ever received in my 30 years of doing talk radio. It's so good, I might take it and have it embroidered into a pillow to keep in my office. We'll read that for you coming up at 6:55. You want to comment on anything in the show? That's your opportunity to make your voice heard. Again, the James River Air text line is 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. The text number for you to join us. Woo! The text message is on fire this morning on this Friday, May 1st. All right, today is May Day. It's a pagan holiday that was taken over, co-opted by the Workers' People Party International, or whatever you want to call them, the communists. It's really kind of a celebration of communism. There's calls for people not going to work, they don't go to school, don't participate in capitalism, have a day off. We will have a celebration of that here in Richmond, where, again, they said if you're coming out, please bring non-perishable food items and soap. They're collecting hygiene products as well. So I'm glad to see maybe they'll take a bath every now and then. But I just want to talk about something for just a moment. This is a horrible idea. Karl Marx and Joseph Engels' idea have led to death after death after death. Yet this gets repackaged. Socialism, communism, democratic socialists is now what they've repackaged themselves. And it keeps coming back every 20 years or so with the big vengeance. We have the leftover hippies that'll be out there protesting, the guys with their gray hairs and the ponytails, and the women out there still trying to relive Woodstock. But it also catches on with younger generations. If you don't believe me, take a listen to this. Here's the mayor of Seattle. I think her name's Katie Wilson. Here's where she is celebrating the title of communist bestowed upon her by the President of the United States the day she was elected into office in Seattle, Washington. Take a listen.
I had the honor of being noticed by the President of the United States, who called me a very, very liberal / communist mayor.
And they cheer.
It's nice to feel seen.
She takes it as a compliment. Then just the other day, when they're starting to talk about, well, we don't have enough money to run everything in Washington and Seattle, you should start taxing millionaires. Here's what she had to say.
I think the claims that millionaires are going to leave our state are like super overblown, and if the ones that leave, like, bye.
And they celebrate, yay! Well, let's tax the rich, and if they all leave, goodbye. We don't need you. Until you become Zohran Mamdani, the poster boy for the Democratic Socialist mayor movement that we have in the United States of America. Remember, Zohran Mamdani, he was going to have free buses, and they were going to do away with the police, and instead of having this or that, the whole Democratic Socialist spiel, we're going to have government-run grocery stores that aren't going to be ready for a couple years, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it because we're the Democratic Socialists of America, until he figures out that communism's really good, like Margaret Thatcher said, until you run out of other people's money. And poor New York, poor Zohran Mamdani has figured out that he's starting to run out of other people's money. Listen.
New York City faces a budget crisis of a historic magnitude. We inherited a deficit larger than any since the Great Recession. Years of mismanagement and chronic underbudgeting, alongside a structural imbalance between what New York City sends to the state and what we receive in return, have taken a toll. We cannot close this deficit with savings alone. We need new revenue, and we need a structural reset in our relationship with the state. That is the only way to meet our legal obligation to pass a balanced budget, and to do so without imposing a financial burden onto the backs of working people. I'm glad to partner with Speaker Menon as we call upon Albany and deliver a balanced budget. Together, we are extending the executive budget deadline from this coming Friday until May 12th because a crisis of this scale cannot be solved without state action. I want to be clear. We are not simply asking others to act. New York City is doing our part. We are committed to governing with the fiscal responsibility this moment demands. Speaker Menon and I have already identified meaningful savings, and we will continue that work carefully, deliberately, and without cutting the services that New Yorkers rely on. But we cannot do it alone. That is why we are standing together this morning to underscore what is.
Isn't that so odd? He stands there very stern. We have a budget crisis. Dude, you've been in office January, February, March, April. It's May 1st. 4 months, you have a budget crisis you can't figure out. You're really cute with the TikTok videos. You're really cute standing there talking about all these things under the sun that you were going to do. But once you actually put communism or democratic socialism into place, look what happens. You can't do it. They say this over and over and over again. You know, communism would work. We just haven't done it correctly. We just haven't figured out how to do it yet. Well, let's take a look at what communism really is. It's cost 100 million people their lives around the world. It's failed everywhere it's gone. In Russia, in China, Cambodia, North Korea, Cuba, everywhere it's gone, it's never, ever, ever worked. You want to know the difference between communism and capitalism? And I can't wait to read you this message a little bit later this morning. Recognize the pattern here. May Day protests around the country framed as workers' rights. The real question is, are you celebrating the ideology and are you trying to repackage it and resell it to a new generation that hasn't learned from history? This isn't about wages and benefits. You're seeing a broader push for a democratic socialist society. Tried before, different forms. You had the hippies. Now you have the democratic socialists. They're basically the same thing. They're just the grandkids of the hippies. Keeps getting repackaged, reintroduced. Today we'll have another one of those dopey demonstrations where they'll say, no kings, tax the billionaires. Oh, and then they'll throw in, let's get rid of ICBP and police and all the other things that come along with that. But there's a pattern here. Movement starts with workers' rights, shift into something more ideological, and then something bigger than just paychecks. That's why when you watch this rally tomorrow, and it'll be reported in the newspaper, TVs will have the thousands of people came out in support of democratic socialism. But you've seen this play out over time, economically and politically. You're seeing it before your very eyes in New York. Mamdani says, I'm going to do all of this great stuff in New York, but he doesn't have enough money to pay for it, so he needs to tax more people. Again, communism's great until you run out of other people's money. Even today, these major cities, they're struggling with budgets. They're struggling with public safety and competing priorities. And the big thing is in New York, 4 months in, Zohran Mamdani, you've already figured out democratic socialism and communism has no sustainability. And you guys love sustainability. And here's what it gets interesting. I'd like to ask you this morning, legitimately, I'm not making fun of these people that are so misguided. If you're a Democrat listening right now, and we have a lot of them, does the push for democratic socialism really resonate in your house? Is this something really that you're going to follow? If you're a Democrat, and I think there are principled Democrats, I know there are, this party is moving in such a radical direction to the left between AOC, Bernie, Mamdani, and the rest that are coming up. And Nancy Pelosi used to be a raging left-winger. Now, she's kind of a centrist in your party. She's not even the furthest one out there. And she's from San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco. I know what progressivism was. Now I can't even recognize it as they've gone so far to Zohran Mamdani and AOC. So here's my big question. In a world where systems matter and people's lives depend on them, tell me this. Communism and capitalism both have fences around their countries. Communism, they have fences to keep their people in from escaping. Capitalism, you have fences over there because people are so desperate to get there to get away from communism. Don't believe me? Go down to Miami and ask how many people are willing to risk their lives to get out of Cuba, to come to the United States through shark-infested waters and the threat of being thrown in jail for the rest of your life and tortured, and going on little boats that you're not even sure you're going to be able to make without drowning on your way to Miami. How many people try to escape Cuba to come to Miami versus how many people try to escape what they'll be protesting this afternoon here in Richmond to leave the United States to go to Cuba? That's the big tell right there. How many people have ever risked their lives to flee America to go to a communist country versus how many people have fled communist countries to look for a better life in the United States? You ever heard anybody say, wow, I'm just so tired of all that we have here in the United States. I think I'm going to flee to find a better life
A+ Windows
in North Korea. That tells you everything you need to know right there. But again, I'll leave it alone. I'll let you guys comment. And I can't wait to read you this text message that I got that, again, I might just frame up or have it sewn onto a pillow for us. But today is May Day. They will be protesting. And for me, I'm going to go celebrate capitalism in the greatest country on the face of the earth. All right. Coming up, don't forget your chance to win $100,000 courtesy of RoofMax as we celebrate 100 years of news radio, WRVA. All right. Let's talk about Windows real quick.